going on, Bucks fans? You're watching Bucks Breakdown presented by Prize Picks. My name is Reed Barkus. Wherever you're watching, whenever you're watching, hope you're having a great day. On today's show, we're going to be tracking all the Bucks UDFA signings on today's show. It's going to be actually very, very fun because they signed about 16 people. If you're a real one, that's why you're watching today's show. You care about the Bucks UDFAs, who's adding to the roster, who could potentially earn a starting spot or just a roster spot on this team. So make sure to hit that subscribe button because you are a real fan. You're a real one. You're in the thick of it. You care deeply about this team. That's what we do here at Bucks Breakdown. So youtube.com/Bucks now. Make sure to lock yourself in. Completely free. If you don't like it for a week, you can unsubscribe. But I guarantee you, just give me a week, you might like it. All right. So like I said, they signed 16 people. So the Bucks will have to make one roster cut. Like it's not going to be a huge deal. And this is actually coming from our good friend Greg Allman. He is covering the Bucks extremely well. He does a lot of work tracking all these UDFAs and giving a lot of information on them. A lot of this, from what I am reading to you today and talking to you today about, a lot of it is from Greg Allman. So give him a follow on X at Greg Allman. Amazing analyst. And as well as the Pewter Plank. Follow them on X, the Pewter Plank. They did a great job of outlining who the Bucks are signing in UDFAs and just a little excerpt of them. So a lot of what I got from today is from these two sources. So please go show some love to them at the Pewter Plank and Greg Allman on Twitter. All right, our first UDFA signing, a quarterback out of Kansas, Jalon Daniels. Now, I actually don't hate this because I like bringing more competition into the QB room. Baker Mayfield going into a contract year. So you bring in a guy who had 22 touchdowns against 7 interceptions last year. He'll have a chance to compete with Jake Browning and Connor Bazelak. So I don't hate this at all. I think bringing him in as a UDFA, he's got some good intangibles. He's got some good ability or athletic ability. So we'll see what happens, and that's number one. And this is no particular order. This is just, breaking down everyone that they have signed. And number two, Noah Short, a wide receiver out of Army, 5'11", 193 pounds. This feels like more of a special teams depth type of guy, maybe a returner somewhere around there. A chance to earn his spot there because he did run a 4.43 40 and rushed for 500 yards last 2 seasons with Army, 67 career catches as well. Likely a receiver in Tampa, but 500 yards, nothing crazy about 571, 3 total touchdowns. More of a special teams depth type of guy, but I just like the fact that they're going and adding guys that could potentially make the roster, but also just to compete in practice and stuff like that. So very, very happy with a wide receiver signing. But before we get on with the rest of the UDFA signings, I got to give a huge shout out to today's presenting sponsor, and that is Prize Picks, America's #1 sports picks app, as well as mine. It's playoff time for basketball. The baseball season is fully underway, and there's no better place to win some cash than with Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 sports picks app and is the best place to win some cash while watching sports, which is why I've been using it since 2022. I'll show you my season-long Prize Picks later on. I've showed you a couple times. I'm more of a football guy, but you can play a lot of different sports on Prize Picks. If you want to see my profile and picks, you're in luck. With the new social feeds feature, you can follow me on the app at Reed Barkus to see all my lineups. The app is super simple to use too. Just pick more or less on a few player stats and lock in your lineup. For example, you've seen this before if you've watched the videos. I have a season-long Prize Picks lineup. Baker Mayfield, the more on his passing yards. I think he's going to have a breakout season with a new offense. Emeka Buka, the more on his receiving yards as well. Mike Evans leaves. Bring in Emeka Buka, wide receiver 1. I think he takes off. And then Bijan Robinson from the Falcons. I'm doing less on his receiving yards as well. So if you want to take my picks or fade them, just do it on Prize Picks. And if you're a new user, Prize Picks has an offer for you. Download the Prize Picks app today with the link in the comments and the description and use code HMA. You'll get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Don't forget, that's code HMA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Now, moving on to the next UDFA signing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Eric Rivers, a wide receiver out of Georgia Tech. Like I said, sort of about our previous Noah Short wide receiver, I like bringing in some competition and some depth into this wide receiver room. I mean, it's more for camp and just to get a lot of bodies in there for Baker Mayfield and, just the quarterbacks to throw to. But a great chance for a guy like Eric Rivers. He's undersized but very speedy with a deep threat ability. Offers some punt return potential as well where he could earn a spot. Production took a hit with his higher level of competition, which, Georgia Tech, I mean, with a guy like Eric Rivers, he did play at FIU in 2024 and then went to Georgia Tech after that, and he ran a 4.35 40. He's 5'10", 176, so a little bit smaller, but like I said, potential to be a punt returner or a special teams guy, which a lot of these guys are trying to make. Now moving on to a tight end, Kenny Fletcher Jr. out of Rutgers. Another one, just more of a depth piece guy. I like adding on the offensive side of the ball after the draft. You get the guys that fill your needs, and then you start to fill in those depth pieces. He's 6'2", 250 pounds from New Jersey. Hey, there you go. But 26 receptions last year, 236 yards, 4 drops, which not too high on that. But hey, more depth pieces in the tight end room after taking a tight end in the Bauer Sharp in the NFL draft. So hey, I like it. Moving on to Deshawn McKnight, defensive lineman out of Arizona. After Vita Vea getting a little bit older, you sign A'Shawn Robinson in free agency. You bring in a guy, 6'1", 238, that would be terrible, 283 pounds. He made an impact in Arizona, actually, in 2025 with 2 sacks and 11 tackles for loss. So I love you're going to hear a lot from this video with UDFA signings. I just love bringing in depth to compete in camp. And you earn a spot on that roster. The assistant GM said, hey, we wanted to draft for the mentality of football, aggressiveness, and just wanting to be out there on the field. How about you go prove yourself in camp? And these what all these UDFA signings could do. Next up is the edge out of LSU, Jack Pyburn. This I'm actually very intrigued about because he is from Jacksonville, Florida, so a Florida native, 23 years old, 6'3", 258 pounds, 52 tackles, 5.5 TFLs, 2 sacks, 34 pressures. I honestly thought Jack Pyburn was going to get drafted, but he did end up going undrafted, falls to the Bucs in UDFAs. He'll contribute early against the run, which I love. Use hand usage to fight off blockers. Also comes with plenty of special teams reps, which is amazing. Athleticism lacking too often. Doesn't have a pass rush beyond running at the blocker. So that's probably why he goes undrafted, but another good depth piece that we can add to this defense. Next up is the cornerback out of Arizona, Ayden Garnes. Now, he's small, but that's what you're going to get out of UDFAs. Not a huge, not something that's going to jump off the page, Started 13 games last year, 8 PBUs for the Wildcats, 4.37 40-yard dash. I don't know if you guys are seeing a theme here. They're just trying to get fast, aggressive, just good players that can try and find their way on the field. So at his pro day, ran that 4.37. It would have ranked second among cornerbacks in this draft class. So something to keep in mind, adding fast guys on that defense as a corner. Moving on to still the defensive side of the ball, a safety out of Charlotte, Jaquarius Conley. Now, Jaquarius is 6'1.5", 214 pounds from Jacksonville, North Carolina, 6th-year senior. So he's a little bit older, but in 2025, 64 tackles, 0 tackles for loss, 5 PBUs, and 3 interceptions coming out of Charlotte. Now, some of these guys coming from a smaller school, I just love trying to get them an opportunity. He recorded 64 combined tackles last year, 3 interceptions, like I said. I ran a 4.49 40, which is, not too bad coming from a UDFA. So a lot of fast guys. Love that. All right, moving on to the special teams. Hey, special teams are people too. Punters are people too as well. Punter out of Kentucky, Ayden Laros. Hey, I love trying to create some competition in each room for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and that's exactly what UDFAs are going to bring. And I keep saying that. I know I probably sound like a broken record, but this is more of just listing out all the people that could potentially find their way onto the roster, and I love the competition. So he pinned opponents inside their own 20-yard line 64% of his punts, which is actually pretty good. So he'll compete with Riley Dixon in that team. Now, before we move on to the rest of the UDFA signings, let's bring it back to the NFL draft. Who was your favorite Bucs draft pick from the 2026 NFL draft? I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. Love seeing what you guys have to say. I think we killed it this year. I did my draft grades last night, and I am getting floods of comments. A plus. We did great this year. We did great. Surprised that we did great. I agree too. Jason Light, the Glazers, Todd Bowles, they killed it. I was not very high on this defense coming into the NFL draft. After the draft, I'm back in. So who was your favorite draft pick from this year? Please let me know. Mine, Ruben Bain is an obvious one. If it's not Ruben Bain, I'm going to go Keontae Scott because he is aggressive, fast, and he'll fit right into this Todd Bowles defense. All right, to Javin Wright, the linebacker out of Nebraska. Adding another linebacker to this room. A lot of these are defensive sides of the football. Now, like I said, no particular order, but the linebacker out of Nebraska, 6'4", 232 pounds, 86 tackles last year, 9 TFLs, 5 PBUs. Actually, honestly, for a UDFA, that's not terrible production. Played in 12 games. This is so funny. I think this is from Pewter Plank. He said, Nebraska alum Jason Light can't stay away from his Cornhuskers, which I love. Moving on to Caden Fordham, the linebacker, another linebacker out of NC State. I really enjoy the fact that they're bringing in a lot of defensive guys to our defense last year was very, very disappointing. So when you bring in a flood of guys that can potentially find their way on the field, I really, really enjoy the plan that they have. 6 foot, 223 pounds, 143 tackles coming out of NC State, finding plays on the field on the defensive side of the ball. Love that. Just want guys who want to be on the field. Wesley Brown is coming in next. Like I said, special teams. They are people too. Long snapper out of Fresno State. Now, I'm sorry, Wesley Brown, we don't have too much information on you. Long snapper, hey, you matter too. Trust me, you have value on this UDFA signing. We signed you for a reason. 6'3", 217 pounds. A little bit of notes on him. Let me see here. Spent 2 seasons as the primary long snapper at Fresno State. Prior to that, he played wide receiver in junior college. So maybe a little bit of athletic prior to being a long snapper, which is cool. Gilmore, cornerback out of Georgia Tech, is our 13th UDFA signing from Citra, Florida. So another Florida alumni or Florida native. 5'8", 183 pounds, 35 tackles last year, 2.5 TFLs, half a sack, 3 PBUs, bringing some more depth into that that cornerback room. Gilmore, he's signing as a corner, but will look at safety as well, according to Pewter Plank, and played at Tennessee Tech and Georgia State, where Ted Hurst plays. So, hey, maybe he's got a friendly teammate in Ted Hurst. Paul Rubelt is our next UDFA on the list. Offensive tackle out of UCF, so another Florida native. I like that they're bringing in some Florida guys. I'm a Florida guy myself. Grew up in Sarasota and then lived in Tampa. So, hey, bring in the Florida guys. I like it. So Paul, he is a tackle from UCF, about 6'10", 313 pounds. So Todd Bowles staying with that idea of becoming bigger. He ran a 4.99 40. Born in Germany, started at left tackle last year and then moved to right. So that versatile or versatile offensive line. Love that. He'll get some work in camp. And moving on to Henry Latovsky, right, Jack? Latovsky, guard out of Nebraska, another Cornhusker coming from Jason Light. Hometown is in Crawfordsville. Sorry. Redshirt senior, 6'6", 319 pounds. Again, pretty big. 65.7 overall PFF grade, 798 snaps. Pass blocking is an 80. Run block, 60. 7 penalties. 0 sacks allowed, though, which is great. He'll get some good offensive line depth. I'm just loving the fact that, like, we're winning UDFA signings as well. Like, how do we win the draft and then win UDFA signings as well, bringing in a bunch of depth pieces that can help this team? Now, moving on, I think this is our last one in Josiah Green, the defensive lineman out of Duke. More depth on those trenches. I love it. You win games in the trenches, so you want to bring as many possible options in there. And he's 5'11", 284 pounds, 37 tackles last year, 7 TFLs, 23 pressures, which, oh, man, I love that coming out of the ACC in Duke. And that is our final UDFA signing in Josiah Green. But I want to give a huge shout-out to our team here at Chat Sports. The draft is huge for us. We do a lot of – I don't know how many videos you guys are watching of breaking down and going through all of the UDFA signings for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's what our entire team does. We have 32 channels for all 32 teams. We are all live, making content all throughout the NFL draft. This is huge for us, and shout-out to our whole team here. This is all of us. Some of us from Cincinnati – in our office over there, but all of us based out of Dallas here. So I just want to give a huge shout out to us, to you guys for watching. We wouldn't be here without you guys tuning in to all the videos. So shout out to everyone involved in the NFL draft. Just want to give a huge shout out. All right. Thank you for watching to the end of today's show. And as always, fire the cannons.